Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Keeping You Lifted, the show that encourages, uplifts, and inspires with your host, Apostle Hilda Stephens-Antione, featuring special guests and engaging topics on the second and the fourth Monday at 6 p.m. on Facebook Live and YouTube. You don't want to miss one show. The question here now, are you ready to be uplifted?
Well, praise the Lord and good evening, and welcome to Keeping You Lifted. We have a great show tonight. Well, I must tell you, I hope you had a wonderful day. It was a beautiful day, just the right temperature outside. I have a special guest tonight. Her name is Jacqueline Foster, and I'm so excited to have her as my guest on Keeping You Lifted. We met and a big shout out at the Black Expo in Asheboro, North Carolina. And so we're going to have this special information service tonight on epilepsy. Now, I'm going to tell you, we're having some technical difficult. You're going to hear her, but we cannot somehow get her beautiful face to show. So you're going to learn a lot tonight. So I'm still going to bring in my guest because I want you to get this information and use it to the best of your ability. We thank God for all the wonderful people from all walks of life He has allowed me to meet. So tonight we're going to be talking to Jacqueline Foster, and she's going to tell us all about epilepsy. And this is the information we need to know. We need to know what to do in certain situations. So I am so blessed. I'm so excited. And maybe we can bring her back another time. But you know what? That's technology. The show must go on. So I'm bringing in my guest now.
Amen. Amen.
Well, hello, my sister.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I thank God for you. And I appreciate the opportunity to give me the chance to talk about this very important issue of epilepsy.
Well, that's the reason you're here tonight. And so sometimes we know things don't work out the way we plan them, but I'm telling you, it's not going to stop anything tonight. So, Jackie, I am so excited. I thank God for you accepting our invitation to be on Keeping You Lifted. So, my first question to you, Jackie, will you please just introduce yourself?
Sure. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on the show and giving me the opportunity to spread awareness for this very important subject. My name is Jacqueline Foster. Jackie is much easier to pronounce than Jacqueline. So most people just call me Jackie. Feel free. I am a resident of Guilford County, North Carolina. I had the pleasure of meeting Apostle Stephens at the Black Business Expo in Asheboro, North Carolina, where I am employed as a judicial magistrate, but I also volunteer my time every second that I can speaking on the awareness of epilepsy. I was diagnosed with epilepsy about 6 years ago, seizure disorder. For some of you who may not know, epilepsy is a seizure disorder, neurological, in the form of neurology. And I have been working with the criminal justice field about 28 years, first as a corrections officer and then as a probation parole officer for about 17 years, and now as a magistrate for the last 8 years. And I was diagnosed about 4 years ago with seizure disorder. And that's when I had to face the reality of the discrimination that people with seizure disorders face once someone finds out that they have epilepsy. And it's really sad because it's something that no one can control, no one can help that they have, but it is a fear, it's a stigma that people assume that people have seizures somehow are scary. And I had the same fear until I was diagnosed with it. But we'll talk about that much later.
Well, I thank God for you. I thank you for bringing this awareness to the audience, and people can go back and look at the broadcast. It was so important that we need to understand what happens and what goes on with epilepsy. So one of my questions is, I think you kind of explained what is epilepsy, and are there different kinds of epilepsy?
The most important part that I want to explore, there are so many different types of epilepsy. That's the most important part that I do want to get across. And I was first, from the moment the doctor said to me in the emergency room, "You're having a seizure," I immediately said, "No, I'm not," because my experience with people having seizures, or you're in the floor, you're having convulsions, you're foaming at the mouth, your eyes are going in the back of your head. And so immediately I denied it and I refused medical treatment, and walked out of the hospital. And 2 weeks later, I woke up, blood covered all over my pillow, almost bit my tongue off, ended back up in the same hospital. And unfortunately, that same emergency room doctor come back in and said, "Hey, I tried to tell you, and if you don't take this thing seriously, it can be terminal." So at that point, I had to listen to him. However, after I found out my particular form of epilepsy is focal, where once you diagnose your form of epilepsy, get the right medication, and follow your doctor's orders, there are many forms of epilepsy that can be cured. My particular epilepsy can be completely cured. Again, there are certain ones that can be completely cured. There are some that can affect someone's life, everyday life. There's so many, there's not enough time on the show to explain the different forms of epilepsy, but it's imperative that people understand, never judge anybody because they have seizures or because you hear the word epilepsy. I could be talking now and have a seizure and you never know it. You would never know it because of the different forms of epilepsy. Every time I had a seizure, I was fully aware of my surroundings. No one knew I was having a seizure because I don't black out. I don't fall on the floor. I just have moments where I will talk like I'm disoriented. I have euphoria. I get a little spacey. I stare just for less than a minute. However, once the seizure is over, like I said, maybe it lasts a minute, I will need to sleep. You just need to go to sleep and sleep it off.
Okay.
So that's the most important part of, that's a focal seizure. You have grandma seizures where most people do fall in the floor or wherever they're at, they have convulsions. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They have convulsions. They have, some have foaming at the mouth. There's so many different types of seizures that I cannot even begin to acknowledge all of them because there's hundreds. And they are located in the brain. They can be caused by so many conditions, and that affect the function of the brain. Epilepsy or seizures, I've met people was in a car accident. They started having them from car accidents. Mine, to my knowledge, was probably caused by an injury when I was a probation officer. had a couple of injuries that resulted from workers' comp, job-related injuries. Um, and to my knowledge, that's probably where mine came from. But we're meeting people every day. Um, Sports. If you're playing football, a lot of football players we're seeing are coming out with seizures. There are so many celebrities that I'm learning that are epileptic, but we're seeing people every day that have epilepsy. They're too ashamed to tell or come out and let people know because of the stigma that comes along with having epilepsy.
Yeah, and I can imagine that. And I thank you so much tonight for bringing so much awareness to keeping you lifted, and that people would go back. And I'm going to push this broadcast and and hope people will get the information they need. One of the things that I wanted to know, that after you have been diagnosed with what type of epilepsy, I had this question: is medication necessary? And I believe that you had started that, but the doctor was saying you must take this serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Medication is necessary. And I will be the first to say it is very expensive, extremely expensive. Just on the general cycle. And mine, like I said, is one of on the lower ladders of epilepsy. And I could tell you mine is right under $2,000 a month. And that is extremely expensive for someone who does not have insurance. Or I run into people that have epilepsy. They are distraught, do not know how they're going to pay for that. Fortunately, the Epilepsy Alliance Association is one of the best nonprofits I've ever seen in my life. They help pay for seizure medication for epileptic individuals. And that is a huge help for people. And this is a life or death situation that people need to realize. When you are given to nonprofits and organizations, there are people who have to have this medication to live, to function. And if you don't have that medication, you will not live. And
Yeah.
that's very important. And some insurances, if you don't have insurance, you can't get it. So the programs out there, which are very few, the only one that I know of that will cover it is the Epilepsy Alliance Association, and they are completely voluntary through, I know of North Carolina, Wake Forest Baptist Hospital sponsors the one covered in North Carolina.
Oh, that's awesome. And so if a person get on medication, will there be might be some possible side effects with this medication, although they need it? Excuse me.
Bless you. There are some side effects to the medication. And one of the most serious side effects, I will say, of just having epilepsy, period, they will take your license for the first 6 months.
Oh,
Some
really?
cases, yes. If you have a seizure, and the sad part in North Carolina is, if you have a seizure, no matter what type of epilepsy you have, just one seizure, your license are automatically suspended for 6 months. And you have to automatically turn in your license. However, it's easy to turn them in. It is so much harder to get them back.
Oh my goodness.
So you have a seizure, the doctor notifies DMV, hey, my client has had a seizure. You have to immediately turn in your license. However, once your 6 months is up, DMV do not give your license back. You have to prove that you're medically fit in order to get your license back. So that, I think, is one area that we as North Carolina citizens need to speak with our legislatures to change, because you have people with focal seizures that does not affect their driving.
Yes.
And that's not fair. There are some people who cannot drive for the rest of their life, but they're making this rule affect everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not fair. And that's where we need to change it in our legislature, because it need to be adjusted. DMV laws need to be adjusted to certain forms of epilepsy.
And yes, it's just, in other words, you're almost saying it's like case by case. Yes.
Exactly. Now, there are some cases where people cannot drive. If you have grandma seizures and there are some people that have certain type of seizures that say, I know I cannot get behind the wheel, then that's fine. However, we need to look, then those cases we need to look at, can we provide them with transportation?
Yes.
Can we provide them, because you still have physical needs, doctor appointments. Can we provide them with transportation? Because a large majority of people do not have family that can take care of them.
Right.
And not take them to the hospital, take them to appointments, take them to get groceries. We have to make people aware of the seriousness that people with epilepsy are going through right now. And this is a huge problem in North Carolina that we need to really look at right now.
Yes. And okay, so I hear you. I hear your heart, and it's important, like you said tonight, that we make a awareness of what is going on in North Carolina. How can we help? How can we start? Some kind of nonprofit group to help meet the needs. So this is one of the questions I really want to know, because I want to know: is there a stigma associated with epilepsy in the African American community?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The African American community definitely has more people diagnosed with epilepsy constantly. And you have the ones that's diagnosed that do not have the financial means, the support, family support, community support to help those with the medical needs that they have to have in order to survive this. That's why I am so determined to make sure that I speak for all of us, not just the African American, but for everybody, about the awareness, the importance of epilepsy awareness. I just started the Fostering Epilepsy Awareness and Resource program to raise epilepsy awareness. And I am in the process of trying to start my podcast so we can have an open dialogue for anybody who would like to learn about epilepsy, to know where you can get resources, where to connect with resources, and just have an open dialogue to where you can vent, where you can learn, where you can express how you feel and what problems you're going through, and what, just like if you know of a resource that you can pass on to someone else who may need that resource.
Yes. So my question is, I know you have did a lot of study on epilepsy, and like you said, you try to make awareness to North Carolina, the community. But do you know how many people may be diagnosed with this, with epilepsy?
I do not know the actual amount of people. From my research, I do know in North Carolina, I don't know. I do know that my research shows that more than 2.2 million in the United States as of last year have been estimated to have epilepsy. But I'm sure every day there's more people. Now that estimate was in 2000. Hold on, I have my numbers here. That estimate, wow. Okay. That estimate was 2 years ago. I apologize. And
No,
it
that's
said that with 150,000 newly diagnosed patients every year, and it's estimated that 1 in 26 individuals will develop epilepsy at some point in their lifetime.
well, it's so important. But how can this become an important issue in North Carolina, that more resource and more finance become available for these people? I know you said that the Wake Forest Baptist, but how much can they handle?
That's the problem. We got to get out and get more people involved with it. Epilepsy is the fourth most common neurological disorder in the United States. It's not just North Carolina, in the United States. And every day people are being more affected by it because you see sports. You see how many people will go to football games and how many people fall or get hit in the head. It only takes one time to get hit in the head or hit in the back or to get yanked or jerked.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be stricken with epilepsy for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And that's so important that we understand what is going on. Because because I was going to ask you, one of the questions, living with epilepsy, and you answered the question about can a person drive, and you explained that so well. But I want to know, how do it affect a person's social life, and how should they tell people about their condition?
Well, I have, from experience, I can gladly tell you, nobody really expresses it. I have learned from a very bad experience to tell, and that's why I'm here today. I was ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared to even explain to anybody, to my children, to anybody, that I was diagnosed with epilepsy. You're scared because of the fear that I had of anybody with seizure disorders before I was diagnosed. I mean, if we're all going to be honest, when you see someone out in the community and they're having a seizure, what is your first thought?
Yeah, you try to figure out what is going on, what is happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my thought was, I'm getting away from here because I do not want to be involved with that. That was my thinking. And I'm so sorry today that I felt like that then.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm being honest with you, that was my thought.
Mm-hmm.
But once you experience, or once you are becoming affected with epilepsy, then you understand how they feel. They're ashamed. They don't want people to know. And unfortunately, once I told my coworkers, trying to keep them informed, I felt like being respectful, even though I was a judicial official in the courts. Every day it was a joke. Everything. Oh, I hope you don't fall out on me, or y'all be careful, I hope, if Jackie come in, foaming at the mouth, and they knew that I didn't have seizures where I foam at the mouth, but it became a everyday joke to them. That's not funny.
No. Yes.
So, and I will tell you also, I meant to explain the epilepsy risk factors.
Yes.
It's not just getting hurt. There's family history. Some people will be born with epilepsy that comes through the family. Strokes, history of strokes will develop into epilepsy. Traumatic brain injuries, brain infections such as meningitis, brain tumors, developmental disabilities, neurodegenerative diseases, neuropsychoticirosis. I cannot pronounce that name. But there's so many different ways. And there are some people, as I said, that are born with it because of their family. Someone in their ancestry had epilepsy.
Well, let me ask you this. Are there any support groups, or how can you start one? Or what is the best way to get information out to people?
Okay. I will say that there's the only support group that I'm aware of is the Epilepsy Alliance Association of North Carolina, and that is through Wake Forest Baptist Hospital. And the director of that is Pat Gibson. They have a support group that we meet through Zoom every second Tuesday of each month from 5:30 to 6:30. It's awesome. We got people not just in North Carolina, we got people in South Carolina, Atlanta, because there's the support groups for epilepsy are so limited all over the United States that people just grab on where they can grab on. So that was the closest place that I could find a support group that we have here in Greensboro is Wake Forest Baptist. And with that one, you just Google Epilepsy Alliance of North Carolina. And that is, if you call Wake Forest Baptist Hospital neurology department, they can hook you up with that because they will get you, get some questions or get you signed up to their to get you signed up for that support group.
So do they have a website?
I don't think they have a website, and that's why I'm trying to start the podcast so anybody, anywhere, can be able to join in for our website. And so far, I'm almost finished. I just need a little more help getting my podcast started up. But you can contact me, and it should be up by the end of May. But and I'll give you my email address for that, and it will be at fearlesswarriorsnc@gmail.com.
Okay.
And it's FEARLESSWARRIORSNC@gmail.com.
Yes, and I'm gonna have you also email that information to me, because really I would love to put this information out. What's the best contact just for people besides that one? That's the most important. That's the one, and tell everyone it's gonna be up by the end of May, sometime like that.
And we will have our own website also. And the number just for that program is 336-681-4437.
Well, Jackie, I'm going to help you out. We're going to continue to stay in touch, and I need for you to email me that information, because I will put it on my website. I will let people know what you're trying to do. I know there's so much you're going to need, and probably at some point you're going to need some finance and all this stuff, and we can pass the word on to those that write grants. Maybe they can help you with some kind of aid, some kind of for literature or whatever you need, some printing, whatever. And this is powerful information that we need to know, especially all over the world, but especially here in North Carolina. I am so proud of you. I think you are doing an awesome job for bringing this type of awareness to so many people. I know you said, but my last question seemed like it's just what you answered. You want to have this information where a family can get information to educate themselves about epilepsy and also help their family members.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, anybody that wants to know about epilepsy and seizure disorders, um, you can email me at that email address is already up. You can email me at that, and I'll be more than happy to email you back any information that you need.
Well, I tell you, this is very, very important. I am so glad that you took time from your busy schedule to just help pass the word on. You know, it doesn't matter, like I said, it came through loud and clear. We're just so sorry we couldn't connect with your face, but I'm telling you, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to understand all the awareness that you're trying to put together for epilepsy, and I am totally impressed. I'm totally blessed. I'm here to try to help you get this word out. And you know, if little things become much in the hands of God, and so whatever we can do to try to help support you, to be a blessing to others, we will be available to try to help you with that. Um, I just want to know, you have any final words you want us to know? You can express it. It's your time.
Oh, thank you. I just want to thank God for giving me the opportunity. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to spread the awareness about epilepsy. And anyone, please feel free. If you know of any children, we I do have access to some literature, some little small coloring books or cartoon books for children about epilepsy, because there's a lot of kids out there that have epilepsy, and just to make them more comfortable with learning about epilepsy and making them feel more comfortable about dealing with epilepsy. So if anyone needs some of those literature, let me know. Like I said, email me and I'll be more than happy to get it to them.
Well, you send me that information as soon as possible. I'm gonna put it on my website with Keeping You Lifted, all the information. And don't forget to send me some of your pictures of some of the special events. Yeah, tell them about the special events you've been participating in.
Sure. Of course, my first event was when I met you at the Black Business Expo in Asheboro, North Carolina, which was amazing. And my second event, we had did a walk for epilepsy at UNC Charlotte in Charlotte, North Carolina, about 3 weeks ago. And that was amazing. Thank you so much to UNC Charlotte. The track team, the soccer team came out, and thank you for Wake Forest Baptist and the Epilepsy Alliance and the pharmaceutical companies that supported that and allowed that to happen. That was amazing. And just the support from the community there. And I just participated along with my adult children and grandchildren in the Relay for Life in Greensboro, North Carolina this past Saturday in Country Park. And that was amazing. Just so many people in the community came out, took part in so many different nonprofit organizations, and brought awareness to everything from cancer to homelessness, epilepsy, everything, you name it. They were out to support it. So I thank God that we got the opportunity to spread awareness for epilepsy. Again, I was able to spread very loudly my passion for everyone to learn about epilepsy, and was given the opportunity to, they invited me, the organization, to come back next year and have my own booth for epilepsy next year.
Oh, that is totally awesome. And you're the right one. Because you had that commitment, that drive. So you're the right person to do the job. Well, we can't thank you enough on Keeping You Lifted. And tonight, my guest was Jackie Foster, and she's spreading some awareness on epilepsy. And so I hope everyone go back and watch the broadcast and listen to all the valuable information that she shared with us tonight. It is total blessing. And However you can help Jackie, please. We're going to put her information up by this week. And as soon as I receive it from her, we're going to put it up and we're going to spread the word. And keep in touch with me and let us know when you are doing something, some type of walk, and if we're available. Maybe we can join you, get a group of people to join you, and get some T-shirts printed up for you, and do what we can.
Well, I tell you what, we'll come all the way to Durham and have a walk for epilepsy.
I'm telling you, because you are doing an awesome job, and this is just not no talk. This is real talk, and we want to be a blessing to you. So once again, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you.
I hope you have a blessed night. We're going to talk real soon. Send me your information as soon as possible so I can put it on my website. Okay?
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you. Well, that was my guest tonight. My guest was Jackie Foster. And man, she had a wealth of information for us tonight. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so excited of all the work she's doing, all the walkathons. I'm telling you, it's a blessing to meet great people. You never know who you're going to come across in life. That's the reason Keeping You Lifted is the show that encourages, inspires, and uplifts. Yes, from all walks of life, doing great things in their community in North Carolina and around the world. So I will be getting that information, putting it on my website. I want you to spread the word. I want you to go back and look at the broadcast, share it with your friends, tell them if they know anyone, especially children. There is someone out there that have a heart for the people. So until the next broadcast, I'm Apostle Hilda Stephens-Antione. I'm telling you, and we are keeping you lifted. We got some great shows coming up for the month of May. Can you believe May is almost here? And we're going to keep kicking it. And we're going to keep kicking it until the Lord says enough is enough. So once again, I thank my guest tonight. That was Jackie Foster for the wonderful work she's doing in her community in North Carolina. And so until the next broadcast, I want you to be blessed and have a wonderful night.
Never been more uplifted, never been more encouraged.